You've got the brains, you know what to do, you've probably even mapped out 10 different ways to win, but somehow, you're still stuck in the same place. The truth? Smart people fail for one simple reason. They confuse understanding with progress. I lived that cycle for years until I learned what actually separates thinkers from achievers. Let's talk about it. Let me tell you something I've learned from experience. Once you're smart enough, your IQ only gets you about a quarter of the way to success. That's it, just a quarter. That means 77% of what determines whether you succeed has absolutely nothing to do with how smart you are. Nothing to do with your test scores, your grades, your ability to learn quickly, or how well you do on puzzles. My friend, success isn't just about intelligence, it's about emotional intelligence, or EQ in short. Studies show EQ is more than twice as effective as IQ in predicting long-term success. It's the skill of reading people, staying calm under pressure, communicating with clarity, and building trust that makes others want to help you. The world doesn't reward knowledge alone anymore. It rewards connection, composure, and collaboration. You can be the smartest person in the room, but if you can't manage emotions, yours or others, you'll struggle to lead, influence, or even work effectively with a team. The problem is, school never taught this. It trained you to chase right answers, not relationships, to solve problems alone, not to navigate conflict, to be correct, not likable. Many high achievers are emotionally undertrained, great at logic, poor at empathy. Here's the truth. Your technical skill gets you in the door, but your emotional intelligence keeps you in the room. People with strong EQ grow faster because they handle pressure better, communicate more clearly, and make others feel understood. If you want to accelerate success, stop only sharpening your intellect. Start practicing awareness of your reactions, your tone, your impact on others. Learn to pause before you respond. Listen more than you speak. Because in the real world, the ability to manage yourself and connect with others isn't soft. It's the strongest competitive edge you can have. And in just a moment, I'm going to reveal why your perfectionism might be the most expensive habit you'll ever have. But first, let me show you exactly how overthinking is stealing your future. Here's the trap most people fall into. You're capable of handling complex challenges, but that side project you keep saying you'll start, still waiting. A year passes, then another. Someone else had the same idea. They built it, launched it, and they're already on version 2.0. This trap doesn't come from laziness, it comes from overthinking. The smarter you are, the more ways your brain can convince you to delay action. You research endlessly, compare options, and optimize before anything exists. It feels productive, but it's disguised avoidance. Hear how it actually works. You want to start something simple, like creating content. Instead of taking 20 minutes to choose a platform and post something, you turn it into a dissertation. You compare algorithms, test tools, study case studies, watch tutorials, and take notes on what works for others. Weeks pass. You've mastered the theory of execution without ever executing. That's not strategy, it's fear wearing a lab coat. Research becomes a safety blanket. It keeps you comfortable, protected from failure, judgment, or imperfection. But no amount of planning replaces the lessons that only action can teach. You have to accept that clarity doesn't come before you start, it comes from starting. Each step you take gives you real data. You can't optimize what doesn't exist. You can only refine what's real. If you want to break free from analysis paralysis, set a rule. Make one imperfect move every day. Post the first draft, build the prototype, share the idea publicly. Progress only happens when motion begins. Thinking deeply is a strength, but overthinking kills momentum. Stop polishing the plan. Start building something worth improving. Because success doesn't go to the one who studies the most, it goes to the one who moves first and learns faster. Real talk, have you ever spent weeks researching something only to never actually start it? Or convinced yourself you need just one more course before you're ready? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one, and honestly, knowing other people struggle with this too might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Here's what they don't teach you. Speed beats precision almost every time. You know what separates builders from idea people? 3 weeks. That's it. 3 weeks of doing instead of planning to death. Think about the last time you had a solid idea. You got hyped, opened your notes app, started outlining, researching, planning every tiny detail. Fast forward a couple of months and that note's buried under 50 others you never actually started. Meanwhile, someone else had almost the same idea, maybe even a worse one, but they launched it anyway. It was messy, full of flaws, but it was real. They got feedback, tweaked it, and built momentum. By the time you're still figuring things out, they're already on version 2. That's the real secret. Speed creates luck. Moving fast opens doors you didn't even know existed. You meet people, you get feedback, you find gaps you couldn't see from the sidelines. Planning feels smart, Waiting feels safe, but honestly, it's the biggest risk of all. While you're still polishing your blueprint, the world keeps spinning. Someone else is already taking your spot, building the thing you only talked about. The real edge in your 20s isn't having the perfect plan, it's having the guts to move first. Launch is messy, adjust later, because you can fix mistakes, but you can't fix wasted time. Every delay costs you compound growth in skills, connections, and confidence. Action beats perfection because the market rewards speed, and your younger self will never return. My friend, the word perfect has killed more potential than failure ever could. Failure teaches you something. Perfect keeps you waiting forever. That word has cost you opportunities and income you won't recover. Stop chasing perfect conditions. Perfect is the excuse your brain uses to avoid discomfort. Action with imperfection beats perfect plans that never launch. Here's the truth about perfectionism. It's not about excellence, it's fear in disguise. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear that if people see your flaws, they'll see you as flawed. You call it high standards, but really, it's hesitation dressed up as productivity. Look at all the things you've left unfinished, the video you never posted, the side project still in progress, the article stuck in draft number 17. You're not refining anymore, you're avoiding. Perfectionism convinces you that one more tweak will make it safe to share, but that moment never comes. You don't build confidence by waiting until something's flawless. You build it by releasing, learning, and improving. But the truth nobody understands: perfect is expensive. It costs time, opportunities, and growth. Done, even imperfectly, creates feedback, momentum, and results. Every revision you postpone is time someone else is using to ship, learn, and earn. Progress lives in the published, not the polished. If you want to move forward, lower the bar for ready, launch the rough version, improve after, because the world doesn't reward the one who waits, it rewards the one who moves. Your reputation builds from consistent shipping, not occasional masterpieces. Mistakes become data when you act. They stay fearful when you don't. The gap between good enough and perfect rarely matters to anyone but you. Done beats perfect every single time. That's not just a quote, it's how progress actually happens. Nobody told me this, but the smarter you get, the slower you move. Knowledge turns simple choices into complex calculations. You start seeing every risk, every flaw, every better way, and before you know it, you're stuck running mental simulations instead of making moves. When you knew less, you just acted. Need cash? Sell something? Need clients? Tell people what you do. You didn't overthink it, you just tried. That ignorance was power because it pushed you forward. Intelligence without control does the opposite. It keeps you analyzing instead of executing. You don't need perfect information to make progress. Most decisions can be reversed. You can't steer a parked car, you have to start moving to figure out directions. Your brain is useful only when it's paired with action. Otherwise, it becomes a trap, a system built to predict, not to produce. The goal isn't to have every detail mapped out. It's to know just enough to start, then learn the rest on the way. Thinking feels safe, but too much of it kills clarity. At some point, you're not planning, you're hiding. That's the line. When the next thought doesn't add value, stop thinking and start doing. Action reveals what analysis never will. The real constraints, the actual risks, the next move. Overthinking protects your ego. Execution builds your future. If this hits home, I go deeper into these mental traps in my weekly Substack newsletter. It's where I share the systems, mindset shifts, and execution frameworks I don't post anywhere else. Built for people who think too much and act too little. It's built for those serious about change, not comfort. If you're ready to stop analyzing and start executing, the link's in the description. I'd love to have you there. Here's something I wish I knew sooner. Success depends more on effort than talent. The formula is simple: performance equals talent multiplied by effort squared. Talent matters, but effort counts twice. It's the force that turns potential into results. Most people rely too much on natural ability. They assume intelligence or skill will carry them, but without consistent work, talent plateaus fast. The people who build momentum are the ones who keep showing up, even when motivation disappears. Effort compounds like interest. Every hour of focused work strengthens your discipline, improves your execution, and builds confidence. Talent gives you the foundation, but effort builds the structure. Smart people stagnate because they never trained endurance. They chase inspiration instead of discipline. Mastery comes from repetition, doing what matters daily, not occasionally. Consistency beats intensity. Average effort applied daily outperforms rare brilliance. You don't need perfect execution. You need repeated execution. Stop waiting for ideal conditions or motivation. Action creates both clarity and skill. Each focus session compounds over time. Your advantage isn't talent, it's persistence. Winners aren't the most gifted, they're the ones who kept working after others quit. Discipline is built through repetition. Show up when you don't feel like it. That's when you separate from people relying on talent alone. Intelligence gives you a head start. Work ethic determines where you finish. So yeah, the smarter you are, the more likely you have a fixed mindset. The people who could learn anything are often the most afraid to try. You've been the smart one for so long that intelligence became your identity. It's not just what you do, it's who you are. So when something challenges you, you avoid it. Not because you can't handle it, but because struggling threatens that identity. If you fail, it might mean you're not as gifted as everyone thought, and that feels unbearable. You'd rather protect the image of potential than risk proving it has limits. But this protection is a cage. You stay in the zone where you always look competent, never realizing that comfort kills growth. Real learning demands discomfort. You have to be willing to look inexperienced, to ask simple questions, to fail publicly. Intelligence is raw material for growth. It only becomes power when you stretch it, test it, and let it evolve through experience. Stop guarding your potential. Use it. Because brilliance that isn't challenged slowly turns into fear disguised as pride. My friend, you can think faster, plan better, and solve harder problems, but that only gets you so far. Success isn't just about being smart, it's about working with people. You can't build anything great alone. The ones moving ahead aren't always the brightest. They just know how to connect, build trust, and make people want to help them. If intelligence was all it took, you'd already be ahead, but it's not. The next thing that matters more than IQ is social intelligence. Here's something that might sting a little. You can probably solve everyone else's problems except your own. You give advice you never follow. You create strategies you never implement. Why? Because success isn't a solo achievement, and you've been playing alone your entire life. Smart people have this thing where we think networking is beneath us. Small talk feels like torture. Why discuss weekend plans when we could debate ideas? Why talk about sports when we could solve real problems? These surface-level conversations feel like a waste of our precious brain cells. But here's what you're missing. That guy talking about his weekend, he's building trust. That woman sharing her story, she's creating connection. Those meaningless conversations are actually relationship foundations. They're not having inferior conversations, they're building superior relationships. Your network is your net worth, not your IQ score. But you've been so focused on being the smartest person in the room that you forgot to actually connect with anyone in it. You've been so busy being right that you forgot to be liked. Success is a team sport, and you can't win if nobody wants you on their team. Here's something almost nobody ever measures: the real cost of waiting. You think you're being smart by waiting until you're ready, but you're not calculating the real cost. Every month you wait to start that business, someone else is spending that month learning what actually works. Every week you delay launching that project, someone else is building an audience. Every day you spend preparing, someone else is getting real-world feedback. But the real sting is the compounding growth you'll never get back. My friend, execution beats preparation every time. Two people can start the same goal. One waits to perfect the plan, the other acts immediately. 3 months later, the planner has a polished launch. The doer has progress, feedback, and momentum. Perfection delays growth, action creates it. Real experience always outperforms theory because learning happens through feedback, not forecasts. The first version teaches you more than endless planning ever will. By the time the perfectionist starts, the executor has already tested, adjusted, and improved multiple times. That advantage compounds. Each iteration builds new insight, stronger systems, and confidence through results. The cost of waiting isn't just lost time, it's lost opportunity. You miss lessons, connections, and momentum that only exist once you're in motion. Every day you delay execution, someone else gains the experience you could have earned. Plans or guesses until proven in reality. Action turns uncertainty into information. Start with what you have, learn from the outcome, and adjust quickly. The real risk is hesitation. Progress rewards movement, not perfection. The faster you begin, the faster you learn what actually works. Start now, refine later. Waiting feels safe, but it quietly kills momentum. Forget everything you think you know about productivity. You don't need another app. You don't need another framework. You don't need another course. You've probably got 15 productivity apps on your phone right now, and you're less productive than you were with a pen and paper. You need a system that works with your overthinking brain, not against it. Here's the secret that nobody tells you. Design your environment so that taking action is easier than analyzing. Remove every single barrier between you and doing, because your brain will find an excuse to think instead of act. Want to start creating content? Don't overthink it. Don't buy another course or research for weeks. Just open a blank document and write one paragraph. Save it. Tomorrow, write another. That's your system. Simple, repeatable, effective. Your brain will fight this. It'll say you need a strategy, a content calendar, a perfect niche. That's not intelligence. That's resistance disguised as planning. Complexity feels productive, but it kills action. Real progress is built on simplicity. The easier you make it to start, the harder it becomes to quit. You don't need a master plan. You need momentum. Start small, stay consistent, and let repetition do the heavy lifting. Complexity will stall you, but simplicity compounds over time. Habits from tiny actions outlast motivation every time. Now it's time to execute. No more planning, only movement. Before the 30-day challenge, you need a system that makes action automatic, because without structure, effort fades. Rule 1. Start before you're ready. If you wait to feel ready, you'll never begin. Your brain will always find another reason to stall. Another skill, another fix, another excuse. Stop waiting for perfect. Start messy. Start uncertain. Just start. Readiness is a myth sold to people afraid of failing. The version of you that succeeds exists on the other side of discomfort. Waiting steals more dreams than failure ever will. Rule 2, pick one thing, not 5, not 3, just one. Do it badly for 30 days straight. Be imperfect, be human, but be consistent, because imperfect action always beats perfect intention. Every single time. Scattered effort creates scattered results. Focus turns average work into exceptional outcomes. Depth beats breadth when building anything that lasts. Rule 3, document everything, not to optimize or analyze, just to prove action beats intention, movement beats planning, and doing beats thinking. In 30 days, you won't be perfect, but you'll be in motion. You'll be growing, evolving, executing. Intelligence gives potential. Action turns it into power. Documentation shows you the gap between who you think you are and who you actually are. Progress becomes undeniable when you track it. Memory lies. Records don't. Rule 4, remove the noise. For 30 days, silence everything that doesn't move the needle. Turn off notifications, stop multitasking, and quit chasing every new idea. Clarity comes from subtraction. The less you chase, the more you progress. Your attention is your most valuable asset. Guard it ruthlessly. Distraction feels productive until you realize years passed with nothing built. What you say no to defines you more than what you say yes to. Rule 5, do it when you don't feel like it. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline is not. The moment you don't want to do it, that's the rep that matters most. Showing up on the bad days builds the muscle that carries you through the good ones. Feelings follow action, not the other way around. Successful people aren't more motivated. They're just better at ignoring how they feel. Character gets built when nobody's watching and nothing feels exciting. Rule 6, review, don't judge. At the end of each week, look back at what you did. Not to criticize, but to learn. What worked, what didn't. Adjust and move forward. Progress requires feedback, not self-blame. Self-criticism paralyzes. Self-awareness accelerates. The goal isn't to be harsh, it's to be honest. Winners extract lessons. Losers collect excuses. Rule 7, finish the 30 days. No negotiation. Completion is the real test. Not results, not perfection, just finishing what you started. Because finishing builds proof. Proof creates belief, and belief turns effort into identity. Most people quit right before the breakthrough happens. Finishing separates serious people from hobbyists. Your word to yourself is the foundation of everything you'll ever build. My friend, you already know you're smart. That's never been the issue. The real problem is how you use that intelligence. You've turned it into armor when it was meant to be a tool. You analyze instead of act, plan instead of move, think instead of try. Your mind was built to create, to solve, to build, not to protect you from discomfort. The version of you that wins isn't the one who knows more, but the one who dares more. Intelligence means nothing without courage. So, stop showcasing your potential and start proving it through action. If you found this video helpful, this next video right here will take you even further. Your choice, your life. Start now.